much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. I let you love what I thought it was funny. You came along and woo, now honey, I've changed my mind. This love is fine. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kisses, baby.
Well, good afternoon, my good friends. Good afternoon. Welcome to my live stream. Welcome. It is August 21st, 2018. It is 1:55 in the PM Pacific Standard Time. I'm in California, just about 15 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. Welcome to my live stream. The big news of the moment is that Paul Manafort has been convicted on 8 counts by Robert Mueller's thugs, and jury deadlocked on 10 more, and the liberal Nazis are celebrating. I'll have a few things to say about that. Let me introduce myself. My name is Andre Lefevre. I am a citizen journalist. I am an extreme libertarian, and I mouth off on things political, things cultural, things interesting. Let's go to the NBC report I found about Paul Manafort.
On the cases that the jury could not reach a verdict, the government has the option of retrying it.
Let me start from the
beginning.
Here we go. Fair use. This is from NBC.
They convicted him on those 5 tax counts. I'm hearing what the other counts are as we talk. Okay, so this is it, Lester. Now we know what it is. They've convicted him, pardon me for pausing here, convicted him on the 5 tax.
I'm sorry, guys.
One of the counts of failing to file a foreign bank account report. Just double checking here. And 2 counts of bank fraud. Just double checking here. Yep, 2. Okay. So that's it. 5 tax fraud counts, 1 count of failing to file a foreign bank account record for the fact that he had overseas bank account. And then 2 counts involving loans that he tried to.
I'm going to stop this. So basically, none of those counts have anything to do with what Robert Mueller and his thugs are supposed to investigate. He was convicted of something that happened 10, 15 years ago, and absolutely had nothing to do with Donald Trump. Unfortunately, Paul Manafort is a proxy for for Trump, and this is not a good thing for the Patriots. This is not a good thing for the Patriots. This is from the Washington Times. Jury found former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort guilty on 8 charges in his bank and tax fraud trial, a verdict that has major implications for the president and his allies. Mr. Manafort, 69, is the first person to be convicted in a trial on charges emerging from special counsel Robert Mueller probe into Russian meddling in the 2016 elections. The president has continually raged against the investigation, referring to it as a trigger and a witch hunt. The judge declared a mistrial on 10 counts on which jury had not agreed on the verdict. The conviction in Alexandria, Virginia courtroom is more than a reflection on the evidence piled up against Mr. Manafort. It is also a win for Mr. Mueller, who can claim the guilty verdict proves the legitimacy of his work to a public growing weary of the 14-month investigation. It also gives ammunition to Mr. Trump's opponents on the left, who will no doubt press Mr. Mueller to keep digging to see if he can link the president, who was barely mentioned in the Manafort trial, to the Russian interference. Again, my heart goes out to Paul Manafort. It had nothing to do with Russian interference and nothing with Donald Trump directly, but it is obvious. It is obvious that the whole thing is that Paul Manafort is a proxy for Donald Trump. The liberals are celebrating. I found this. Let's see. I found this little GIF. Yeah, this is a GIF that I found on the liberals. The liberals are celebrating. The liberals are celebrating as if they took down Donald Trump. It's just, let me get this off. I don't like looking at this. Let me tell you, folks, what's going on. The swamp people are very different from us. They're very sensitive to things that to us are not that important. For instance, that Brennan, I can't remember his first name, the Muslim CIA chief under Obama, when he was stripped from his security clearance, it was like it wounded everybody in the ruling class. It's a minor thing. It's not a big deal for both of us. So yeah, they took away his clearance. He wasn't working for the government anyway. But that minor loss of privilege, reverberated through the ruling class for the swamp creatures, as if Donald Trump physically tortured all of them. So right now, the ruling class, the swamp creatures, are getting a dopamine overdose because Paul Manafort was found guilty of tax evasion and bank fraud, which undoubtedly will be appealed. In their closed world, this is a victory. Again, in the regular course of things, it doesn't reflect on President one iota. But in their swamp creatures' crazy minds, somehow it reduces President's power. In some ways it is, in many ways it isn't. Our country is going through the culture move, through the political moves that I really do not like. Robert Spencer is the creator and the owner of a very good website called jihadwatch.com, jihadwatch.org, where he documents all the atrocities that Muslim jihadis do, or Muslims do, against non-Muslims. GoFundMe, a patron, canceled his accounts. They just outright canceled his accounts. This is his website, and let's see if and I will strongly recommend it. It is very informative, very interesting. He had a conversation. I found this conversation with him on a real video yesterday. He had a conversation with Alex Jones, and I downloaded it and I posted it on my YouTube channel. So far, YouTube hasn't taken it down. So fair use, and I'm sure neither one of them will object. Listen in. This is very interesting conversation. I will play you a few minutes.
You're a historian on this, but that's what's so crazy about this is they're literally following a Hitlerian program, and I saw articles all this week. We need a solution to the Alex Jones problem. And I'm like thinking, God, I read Rise and Fall of Third Reich. This don't sound too good.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that they, the denial in the first place, the lies that you talk about, that they spread all these lies about you, this is what they've been doing to me also for years. That I come out and I say that there's a threat from jihad terror, and documented in books and on the website, and they say, oh, he's a racist, he's a bigot, he's an Islamophobe. And now comes the other foot dropping that racist, bigoted Islamophobes, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center and these other real hate groups, have no right to have a voice. And so... Well,
that was their main reason for banning me, as you know, was Islamophobia, because I literally talked about jihadists running people over with cars every day.
Yeah. Well, jihadists are running people over with cars. They're screaming Allahu Akbar. ISIS said, run over people with cars in Western countries, and they're doing it. But if we talk about it, then it's our fault. And the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, which is 57 Muslim governments around the world, they've been pursuing this as an agenda for years. They have what's called an Islamophobia observatory. And if an imam says, kill the Jews, then that's okay. The OIC doesn't say anything. But if Spencer or Alex Jones says, look, this imam said kill the Jews, then it's Islamophobia, goes in their Islamophobia report. And this is something that's taken seriously.
Well, there's also, because here's the deal. I was never against Israel, whatever. I was never like into them. It's just another country and Israel's our friend, whatever. The obsession of the left calling me all these anti-Semitic names, when I'd be proud if I was Jewish, I'm not. And the way they get away with it on Twitter and Facebook, and then I'm doing nothing and being banned, and they're saying, you know, all these horrible things about my family. And it's like, where did the left become... Like they call us Nazis when we're not Nazis, and then they're aligned with people that actually aided the Nazis. It's crazy.
Yeah, and they're the most anti-Israel ones out there. And so if you want to talk about anti-Semitism, it's all on the left. And what's more, you remember the brown shirts in the early days of Nazi Germany, and even before the Nazis came to power, they would go to professors who were anti-Nazi, and they would shout them down. They would circulate articles discrediting them, accusing them of various crimes.
Same thing.
All physically menacing them. Exactly what's happening to us.
Gosh, wow. Jihadwatch.org. Just good reports, facts on what's happening. We're going to come back and talk about jihadwatch.org. Robert Spencer, who's been banned from raising money by MasterCard. That is just so dangerous, folks. It's happened. They took one of our payment processors. It's but notice no reporting on that little victory there.
Anyways, so the hard left is doing the move that the National Socialist Party of Germany did, the Nazis did. They did it incrementally. First, they did exactly that. They made it impossible for Jews, gypsies, and political opponents of the Nazis to live normal day-to-day life. That started in 1932, and 5-6 years later, when they were impoverished, lost any political and economic power, they were simply herded into the concentration camps and exterminated. It's not a Jewish problem, not a gypsy problem. It's a human problem, and it looks like the Democrat Party is going down the same path. And I'm afraid it's not a joke. First, they're going to go after Mr. Spencer and Alex Jones and do that to him. They're going to do then to the less important, less well-known figures. And it's going to filter down to everybody who supported Trump, to everybody who does not kiss the ass of the National Socialist Democratic Party of the United States. And if you think they're going to stop, yeah, let's not find out. We need to resist. We need to resist, and we need to be vocal about it. Right now, I'm doing my part by mouthing off. If time comes, I need to do more. I will do more. I will talk more about it as time goes by. But I was born in the Soviet Union, and I am not afraid of them. I know what tyranny looks like, but I also don't want to live in the Soviet Union again. And it looks like the Democratic Party of the United States is heading in some weird hybrid of Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, with a high-tech tyranny added to it. All right, next story. This is from Gateway Pundit. Muslims hold massive rally at the Vikings U.S. Bank Stadium chanting Allahu Akbar. Laura Loomer has filmed what it looks like. It does not look like United States. It does not look like United States. Just take a very good look at what it looks like. This is not Middle East. This is Viking Stadium. This is America. And it is summer, 90-degree weather. Look at the way the women are forced to be dressed. Look at the way the men are dressed and the way the women are dressed. And I'm sorry about the slow internet connection. Yeah. That should scare any. Let me go back. I'm sorry, guys. My internet connection is slow, or deep state is missing. So, Islam is incompatible with American culture. It truly is incompatible. There have been many surveys done, and the one that I saw a couple of years ago shows that 25% of American Muslims think that Islamic laws are far more important than U.S. Constitution. That Sharia should supplant U.S. Constitution. If that doesn't scare you, let's see what the next story will do. This is again from Gateway Pundit. A man who was clubbed by Antifa for carrying an American flag was actually a leftist. A Portland man who was violently attacked by Antifa during the August 4th counter-protest against the Patriot prayer rally was actually a progressive Bernie Sanders supporter who had brought the flag with him to show to show that the right doesn't have a monopoly of patriotism. Well, I think he was a very naive young man. Antifa and the Democratic Party are no longer American entities. They're no longer interested in American values. They're no longer, this is what the back of his head looked like, by the way. The Democratic American Nazi Democratic Party and Antifa are not interested in American values or making America great again. Matter of fact, they hate us and they hate our country. I think this is a little clip of what happened, so let's see if we can play this. Let's see. That's what Antifa does to people. That's what Antifa does to people. And that man was, it's not that it's an excuse, it's not that it's okay to club to club patriots. Not at all. But that's what Antifa does, just like brown shirts in Nazi Germany. They go around and they enforce the political views by force. It is not a big stretch. So if this is continuing, those of us who are patriots are going to get visits from the masked, black-clad Antifa members to our homes beating us up. That's what happened in other countries. This is the rule book that the Democrat Party is using. Antifa and Black Lives Matter are the terrorist enforcement arms of the Democratic Party. So this is the next step. They are chasing prominent Republicans and conservatives from the restaurants. Pretty soon they're going to start chasing the rest of us too. And the next step is coming to our homes and attacking us in our homes. This is the next step. That's how it progresses. The next story, this is from Breitbart. California legislature kills bill for free health care for adult illegal aliens. California Senate Bill 974, which would provide for full-scope medical health benefits to illegal aliens, died in the Senate Assembly after concerns about $3 billion in new costs. SB 974 medical immigration status adults failed quietly as the Assembly Appropriation Committee on August 18, despite an effort to save part of the bill by reducing the cost of taxpayer coverage by $200 million by only covering about illegal aliens 65 years and older. Let me tell you what's going on in here, and I'm very cynical when it comes to things like that. California legislature is liberal democratic. They believe in communism, socialism, and they have some overtones of Nazis in them. They didn't kill this legislation because they think it's wrong or because they don't want to spend the money. California legislature could care less about overburdening California middle class with taxes or saving money. What the problem with that is that there are internal squabbles within California Democratic Party on how to divide that windfall. And because they couldn't come to an agreement how to divide those billions of dollars, this is why that measure died. California has no opposition to the Democratic Party at all. However, since it's a one-party state, the Democratic Party has fragmented among the ethnic lines. There are white Democrats, Jewish Democrats, Latino Democrats, Muslim Democrats, Black Democrats, Asian Democrats, and so on. And each group has its own subset. And it's very hard for them sometimes come to an agreement because disagreements along the ethnic lines are sometimes a lot more profound than disagreements between the ideological lines. Everybody pulling the blankets toward themselves, and our state is being torn apart. It's not all lost in California, but it is, California politics are very much different from the rest of the country. The next story also has to do with illegal immigration. This is also from Breitbart. Previously deported illegal alien accused of raping a minor at least 20 times, and this is the picture of this monster. A previously deported illegal alien is accused of forcing sex with an underage teenage girl at least 20 times in Polk County, Florida. Jesus Ramirez Velasco, a 31-year-old illegal alien from Mexico, was arrested and charged with 20 counts of sexual battery after the 6-year-old, the daughter of his girlfriend, says he had sex with her at least 20 times, according to the Ledger. Stories like that leave me speechless. Democrats want to pack American voters with illegals and vote them illegally or illegally or any which way to win elections. Democrats simply cannot win an election without chicanery, without fraudulent votes, without voter fraud. Democrats just don't have any ideas. They lost on the ideas, so now they're cheating, and they're cheating bad. So they're willing to unleash monsters like that on American little girls in order to win elections. Democratic Party is the personification of evil. I think it would be a mistake on the Patriots side, on our side, to think that somehow we can come to an agreement with them. They need to be defeated. If they're peaceful, they should be defeated politically. If they get violent, I don't have to tell you what needs to be done. The next story is another disturbing story and directly has to do with Democratic Party and the liberal movement. Pennsylvania bishop says prelates involved in sex abuse cover-up should resign. Pennsylvania Bishop Lawrence T. Persico has called for complete transparency in an investigation of the latest clerical sex abuse scandals, noting the last week that the regaining lost trust entails ousting bishops who fail to deal effectively with abuse. Basically, Vatican hierarchy is full of pedophiles, and for one reason or another, Catholic priesthood is infected with pedophilia, and Catholic hierarchy is protecting them. I don't know what the truth is. I wasn't present there. I don't know. From the persistent reports we're getting for the last 30 years about this problem, and it's never solved, leads me to believe that they don't want to solve it. They have a problem. Catholic Church hierarchy has a problem, has a pedophilia problem, and they don't want to solve it. I think something like that warrants special investigators in the United States by the Department of Justice. These people need to be investigated, put on trial, and if they're guilty, convicted and given maximum sentences. My personal belief is that pedophilia should be punishable by death. I know that it's not going to go anywhere. Too much money and too much power in the Vatican, and that's too bad, especially with Pope Francis, the Marxist liberation theology Pope that we have. He's not going to do anything. He may pay lip service, but he's not going to clean up his church. And unfortunately, with my all due respect to the Catholics, guys, you need to rise up and you need to reform it again. And it's not easy. But I can't see, if I was a Catholic, after all that I would be interested in going back to the Catholic Church. It's an old institution. This is the second oldest Christian denomination, and it needs to be respected as a denomination. But the people who are running it right now, my Catholic friends, they're not going to reform it themselves. I think something needs to be done. Why am I interested, even though I'm not Catholic? I'm Eastern Orthodox. Is that was because this is how we need to do it. The Catholic Church, the Vatican hierarchy, allied itself with the Democratic Party and the Nazi progressive movement throughout the world. They no longer represent the core Christian values like the Catholic Church once did. And just like in the First Reformation, it took Martin Luther, the low-level priest, to rebel, and the parishioners, the rank and file Catholics, to force the Reformation. I think the same needs to be done with the Catholic Church, and they're not immune. All the major denominations have went so far to the left, allied themselves with the despicable atrocities done by the progressive movement throughout the world. All of us Christians, doesn't matter which denomination, need to keep the hierarchy of the organized religion in check. Because when they commit atrocities like that, they don't speak for us. As a matter of fact, I have to tell you, because I'm not happy with the turn that the Eastern Orthodox Church is taking on some of the issues. I have stopped going to the church precisely for that reason. There's a big difference between religion and organized religion. Moving on. This is another story from Gateway Pundit. Michael Cohen reportedly flips, discusses a plea deal with persecutors. Mueller's witch hunt team leaked to NBC today the news that Trump personal attorney Michael Cohen's ready to flip on President Trump. The Mueller team raided his office and took all of his private documents earlier this year in a clear breach of attorney-client privilege. By hook or by the crook, Democrats are trying to nullify the elections of 2016. Something tells me that Donald Trump has a counter move to this. Folks, what we're watching is totally out of hand. We have swamp creatures using thug tactics to destroy a popular president just because he's cleaning them out. Very, very, very dangerous times. Here's another story that I have here. 2 Iranian Americans. Where's this one from? This is from Jihad Watch. 2 Iranian Americans charged with spying on Jewish Israeli facilities. If Barack Obama were still president, or if Hillary Clinton were president, do you think Ahmad Derza, Mohammed Dusser, and Majid Kotani would be facing persecution? Neither do I. This is another indication of the Trump administration determination to stand up to this rogue regime that doesn't scream death to America and death to Israel, but plots and works actively toward achieving the downfall of the world's only superpower and the lone Jewish state instead of enabling the bloodthirsty mullahs. Trump is working to oppose them and support the demonstrators to run or fighting to breed. 2 Iranian Americans have been charged by the Trump administration with spying on Jewish and Israeli associated facilities in California on behalf of the hardline Iranian regime, the Department of Justice announced Monday. The charges first made public on Monday are among the first by Trump administration charging Iranian spies of running operations on Jewish and American communities on American soil. I'd say thank God that a portion of of the intelligence community in Washington, D.C. is loyal to United States Constitution. Thank God not all of it was ruined by President Obama. I will breathe a lot better when we're going to start arresting Chinese spies, because they are far more dangerous than Iranian ones. But I'll take this too as well. Folks, I need to get back to work. I'm a true citizen journalist. I don't get paid for this. I just took a break to do this live stream. I appreciate you joining me more than I can ever tell you. Thank you, and God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you, my good friends.